Hey guys, Sean Bucci, surplusfundsriches.net. If someone could please, a couple things. Always use the chat button, or rather the comments button, the chat button, not the Q&A only button, please. In addition, I've got three announcements. The first one, of course, for those of you guys that are new to us and haven't come on board with us yet, we only sell programs twice a month, 2 days a month. And this is going to be tomorrow. Thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer says she can see and hear me okay. All right, I'm going to guys, I'm going to shut the chat down for just a second. And all messages will be private. By the way, it screws with us when we make them public. I will address you by name, first name, so you know that I'm talking to you. But let's go ahead and disable chat for just a second since we know everything's working. I'll be enabling it. This is a interactive question and answer webinar. First thing is we've got the big sale for those of you guys that have not started up with us. We only sell the programs 2 days out of the month. They'll start tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern on the 12th, Friday. It will be over at 10 p.m. Eastern on the 13th. I believe the next sale, don't hold me to this, should be June the 14th. However, we'll be giving you guys more information on that for those of you that haven't done enough due diligence. So you're just starting your journey in a surplus funds. Couple things. So we're anticipating a huge run too in the deed flip, although the surplus has been unbelievable this year because of, I've put this in videos before, but because of the tax reassessments going on across the country, we anticipate a huge uptick in deed flips. As a result, I brought on some additional investors recently and met with a couple of folks so we can definitely handle whatever the heck comes in. The last thing is a quick announcement. Again, everybody use comments, please, not the Q&A. But the last thing is a quick announcement, and we're going to wait on getting the docs back, but we have already set the notary up for this one, and we're going after one. It's 400 grand. Looks like we have complete approval. Everything's good to go. Those of you that have been on here before, you know that I tend to avoid telling you the state it's in simply because if someone's put in the work and they've got a list from that particular area, I don't want to blow somebody's honey hole. That's why we leave it open to you guys to find your own list. We tell you how, but we leave it open as far as how you find it. But that's a big announcement. I'm excited about that. Those of you that saw the board, when we put the video on that, we're at 1.58 million in upcoming retrievals. Uh-oh. Jeff is texting me. I had 1.58 million in retrievals on the board, and that was actually a low spot. We're well over 2.2 million now. And that does not include the 400,000 that we just got under contract. And of course, a lot of the stuff is going to pay out in the next couple of weeks. Yes, we will reach out to you guys. Those of you guys that are working with us, we will reach out to you shortly on that and be letting you know. Just so you know, Jeff can't find the login link, so I'm going to go ahead and send this to him. Sorry, guys. But just so you know, we don't tend to let you know that we've got one under contract until two things happen. We get the documents back, obviously, right? Got to have it under contract. And then it's sent to the attorney, and they do a double check on title to make sure you did your work right. And also, let me get to here. I'm sorry, guys. Also, they make sure there isn't something like an IRS tax lien, something that we couldn't find, or a large judgment that we could not find. I apologize. I'm going to have to go and resend a link to Jeff. So let me do this real quick. Sorry, guys. I know I sent it, but I had sent it early. Man, we've been going back and forth on so many deals recently. It's going to take a little while. I apologize, guys. I promise you'll be done with this quick, and then we'll get into questions real quick. I just have to send this out to Jeff, and it's going to take me a second. And it's nice to have a moderator on board. So let's go to links, presenters. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I really am doing something here. All right, that's sent. And I'm going to come back to you guys, and I'm going to open up this for any kind of questions or comments you have. I'm going to tell them I just resent the link. So he will know about that. I'm sorry, guys. Let me open this up. Occasionally, believe it or not, we do have technical difficulties. I know it's hard to imagine. Computers. All right, let me get back into here and open up chat. Boom. All right, guys, any and all questions, fire them at me. Now, listen, for those of you guys that are new, let me go to chat. Oh, you found it. Okay. For those of you guys that are new to us completely, one of the things I recommend you do before the sale is go to surplusfundsriches.net. Click on, and by the way, we have a file download you can grab here. Click on products, or there's a banner at the top of the page. Click on that, and on that page will be 2 downloads. One of them is going to be pricing on the sale tomorrow and the following day, Friday and Saturday, starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And the other one will be a product overview. So that's great to use. Again, guys, real quick, don't use the Q&A button, use the chat button. Jennifer, before I go through that question, the only thing we take on day of sale should be the Florida system. So please let me know that that's what you're talking about. Rachel, great question. Oh, yeah, well, let's start with Brad because he came in first. If a title deed has been corrected and re-recorded, which one needs to be uploaded? Title deed, Brad, I'm assuming that you mean a deed transferring from a grantor to a grantee. In other words, a deed of conveyance, not, for instance, a deed of trust, which is what some mortgages are called in some areas. I'll get back to you, Jennifer. I see you redid that. Thank you for clarifying. But Brad, if a title is correct, which one needs to be uploaded? Whatever the correct one is, Brad, that's what I would do. Make sure that you update the most recent one that was recorded that we need, either the one transferring ownership at the time of the sale, so we have proof of that, or the one transferring the deed to someone else prior to the sale, right? So like the last owner. What is the average dollar amount of legal fees for surplus cases? So that varies a lot, Rachel. The way that we do it, and we found this is the easiest way to work with attorneys, is we have a central attorney that I've known this guy over 25 years. We have a central attorney, and what he does is his paralegal works for us too, and she's our attorney liaison, if you will. She gets the final documents, and then if it's, for anything out of North Carolina, which is, of course, we can work 45, 46 states, so there's a lot of them. She is the one, the go-between that hires the attorneys in the states. It makes it a lot easier. I try to limit my attorney costs to a max of 10% whenever possible. And then I give my central attorney another 3 for everything that they factor out, that they send out outside of this state. And that way they have some incentive also to jump in and push the other attorney if need be. Now, having said that, some attorneys will charge you, if they don't know you, right? They're going to say, great, to start the case, we want $1,000 or $2,000. And that may be all that they charge, but they want it up front because they don't know you. They don't know if you know what you're doing. And they know that you're going to be starting a case and spending time and energy, and they don't want to be out money. So you run into that a lot. Once they get to know you, a lot of them will do it not on retainer so much, but they will do it for you on a contingency basis. Depends on the attorney, and it depends on how much volume you're sending them. Okay. Jennifer, Florida. Only day of sales or period that has to pass to ensure creditors have not included can reach out to the claimant. So Jennifer, we reach out to them right away, even if we find that there was another claimant, double checking, or a potential other claimant or creditor that may have it, as long as there's enough money left, we're going to go after it anyway. And that's just something that we do because Florida is the only state that limits the length of time creditors can make a claim. For those of you guys that are new, Florida is only available in bundles because we want to limit competition on that one state. Rachel, hello. I have 2 claims right now that the people are deceased. One is $52,000 and the other one is $110,000. I hate to leave them, but wondering how hard it is to do these claims on my own. So Rachel, obviously you've got our program. It does tell you how to work that. Let me tell you why we avoid that. There's only one state, Florida, we kind of work that with most of the time. The other thing is if it was a joint tenants with rights to survivorship deed and one person died, but they died prior to the foreclosure, their interest transferred to their spouse. So if there's a surviving spouse, they get it all, even if both names were on the deed, as long as we can get a death certificate from the surviving spouse. Typically, it's a woman. Men tend to die younger. In other states, I can tell you, you typically have to open an estate or work with the executor for the estate. And just so you guys know, I think there's a really big misunderstanding out there. I think people tend to think that if somebody dies, there's always an estate open. My father just died in January. He had everything in line, the will and all that. We had powers of attorneys all set up. I had duplicates of that with myself too to help out. I've got the same thing for my mother now. And we didn't open an estate file. We didn't have to. I mean, bills were paid. Everything was good. There wasn't some money that there was in question. The will was fine. Nobody's ever going to question it. The deed was set up, like I always tell you guys, to set up a deed, joint tenants with rights to survivorship. So boom, we took his death certificate down and got the deed just in mom's name immediately. So that kind of thing makes it a lot easier when you do it the right way. But I can tell you right now, it can be cost prohibitive to open up an estate. You just can, because now you're not looking for the people that are alive, you're looking for the relatives, and you're trying to figure out which one really does have an executorship, if there is an executorship, if you follow me, right? Because there might not have been a will, there might not have been an estate file opened. I can tell you from experience, a lot of times what happens is the kids will jump in. Yeah, guys, don't use Q&A. Jeff just reminded everybody, don't use Q&A, use chat. But I can tell you guys, a lot of times estates aren't open because usually a kid has been helping their parent out. And what tends to happen over time, especially if they've been spending money on it, is sometimes the money gets muddled between their parents because they're like, wait, you know, I spent $100 on gas going back and forth last week. I helped her fix the roof. I did this. And they don't want to open an estate because if you open an estate, you got to show your books. And it's not necessarily that they did anything wrong. Well, they did, you know, if they got a little greedy there, but that happens a lot, guys. Bernard, if file gets accepted on the list, but you guys find out through the attorney the money's been claimed or anything that would stop the deal, do you let the researcher know? So again, Bernard, this is something I kind of covered in the beginning. What we do, it's best because I think you've come back and forth on us like 4 times checking on some files. It is best to understand that is why we don't tell you when it's under contract until we get the contracts back, obviously, right? And we also have the attorney double check that everything's in line, because I'm not going to reach out and go, failure. I'm not going to reach out and go, sorry, it's not going to work. There was an IRS tax lien. Now, by the same token, it's people, once they've been working with us for a while and they're consistent, Bernard, in turning in files, and they keep turning in files, once they get to that point and we've established a professional relationship with them, then I start letting them know that kind of thing, especially if we've got a couple in the queue that are coming in. But other than that, no, we don't. We let you know when one's under contract and it looks like it's going to go through the system. There is a file download, guys, you can get. That's a lot of information on there. What are the retentions rates like between people continuing to partner with you versus on their own versus give up? So, Rachel, a lot of people, first of all, the big question here is how many people start on their own and just do it on their own. And if you look at the testimonials, our YouTube channel is Surplus Funds Riches, all one word, just like our website, same name. Our website's .net, but Surplus Funds Riches is our YouTube channel. And a lot of those testimonials are for people that just started and did it on their own. I have researchers that have been with us for years and years. I have researchers that graduate out and go on their own. I really don't keep track of that. There's no need, you know. Rachel, okay, that's the last one. Oh, good. That's the last one I got. I'm all caught up. Thank goodness. Guys, remember, we try to keep this to half an hour. So as a result, we're going to need you. We're going to need you guys to use chat, and we're going to need you to ask questions fast as they come up in your head, okay? Because we need to address as many as we can. I'm going to cover these, but this is the last time I'm going to do this, guys. I'm going to cover these in that came in on the Q&A and let you know, please use chat, not Q&A. Lillian, can you combine surplus 16 and regular surplus files together for your 3 files? So no, it's 3 files per. Okay, a lot of you guys don't know this, but when you start, you got to turn in 1 file at a time, and then it'll show up on our active files list. And as you see it turn up, okay, now I can turn to the next one, the next one. Once you get 3 that are on our active files list and turned in correctly, so therefore they're on their active files list, they got through underwriting. Once you have 3 like that, then you can turn in pretty much as many as you want, going forward. But no, you can't do Premier 16, this many turn-ins. It's per system because the systems are all different. If I have, this is Eric, and guys, this is the last time I'm going to answer Q&A. If I have 2 JTWR or less, guys, that's joint tenants with right to survivorship who are not married, okay, do we need 20K per person or just 20K total? All right, so I believe, first of all, the 20K, that may be Florida, because national, I believe, is at 25K. But yeah, we're still going to have, so if one passed away and we can only get and we got a hold of the spouse, then it's all to that person, so it doesn't matter. If they're both alive, it really doesn't matter if it's joint tenants with right to survivorship or anything else. We're going to need them both on board. I hope that's answered your question. Check the, maybe Jeff will chime in here, but check the resources page as well. And the surplus, look, guys, Jeff put a lot of time into the support system. If you go to the site, surplusfundsriches.net, and you're a member, we do check, and you click support, he's got frequently asked questions on there too. Is this a good time to do the deed flip program from Rita? Absolutely, Rita. Tax reassessments hit. They're hitting in a lot of states right now where people are paying higher taxes, and they're going to be losing their houses in droves as a result. It's also going to hit the mortgage foreclosure side, because included in a mortgage payment is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, right? So if taxes go up, the mortgage payment goes up. A lot of people don't understand that, but it does. All right. Brad, do you accept family trust on title deeds if the trustee of the trust is still alive? I'm going to leave that for Jeff, because I believe that is different per program. Hasya. Hi, Sean. We're with the banding. If the property was bought at auction by the Federal National Mortgage Association or Department of Housing and Urban Development, but there is no mention of Fannie Mae or HUD as the plaintiff or in the history of any mortgage lenders, is it considered to be bought by a third party? It was bought. Wait a minute. National Mortgage Association or Department of Housing. Okay, so guys, just so you know, this is probably one of the best questions we've had in weeks. So if Housing and Urban Development, that's HUD, by the way, right? Housing and Urban Development or National Mortgage Association, when you see those and they're not listed necessarily, maybe the bank was listed as a plaintiff, but then you see it bought by them, 9 times out of 10, that bank was just kind of a front for HUD. Okay. So you need to understand that it was bought back by the bank, technically. So that's considered the bank buying it back. It's a good question, Hasi. I see you figured it couldn't hurt to ask. Absolutely doesn't hurt to ask. All right, Michelle. Hi, Sean. What is your opinion about states that charge ridiculous prices for deeds? In other words, to look at it online, Michelle. So the only state I know that can get kind of high is California. There's other ones that also charge you per look. I believe Delaware maybe. However, like Georgia, for instance, if you talk about Georgia, that's so cheap, I can't stand it. $25 a month for unlimited access across the state. That's so cheap. But here's the thing. You can work, depending on your program or bundle, anywhere from 45 to 47 states. So move on if you don't want to pay the price for it, Rachel, can you explain if something says it's a trustee deed? That should be, Rachel, the deed at sale. But guys, really need to reread the initial PDF. Okay, that's your step-by-step in writing. And watch the videos, because I believe we kind of covered that one. Hasya, here we go. Hasya, if a bank buys at auction, there is no surplus funds. That's your answer. Okay. He made it a lot easier than I could say it. Banks do not buy property at auction unless they were somehow associated with the bank that was foreclosing. And that's basically an REO, real estate owned situation. And there are still states where they're doing that because they know they can resell it for more money. And it's an end run, and it should be illegal. It is in many, many states. For national surplus funds, is the list a skip tracing subscription, average monthly cost? So we teach you how to get your own list, Kelly. National Surplus, you don't need a skip tracing subscription because we do that for you if you're going to partner with us. You send it into us and we skip trace them, mail them, call them, get in touch with them, put the deal together, hire the mobile notary, hire the attorney, and give you 8% of the gross amount being held by the court. Okay, whatever we get out, right? We give you that when we successfully get the money out. So if you're looking at maybe down the road doing skip tracing, look up the ones we recommend are IDI Data, IDIDATA.com, Microbilt, MICROBILT.com. Microbilt's a great one because they're really good at finding also possible relatives and associates, probably the best at that. And if you talk to Randy Mosteller with that, tell him Sean Bougie sent you, he'll waive the startup fee, which is $200. I can't give you an average monthly cost, and I'm not dodging it. You can find it really easy online. A secondary system to use, by the way, is the reverse lookup system on White Pages Premium, which is like $25 a month, I think. Anyway, if you're looking for average cost, contact those companies and figure it out. I'm not blowing you off. The reason I say that is I'm on really high volume rates. I spend probably close to $2,000 a month on skip tracing because of the amount of stuff we've got coming in. Okay, and because we not only send to possible to the claimant's possible address, but also the possible relatives and associates. We really pound this stuff. How do I choose the right program? You've got so many, Helen. Go to the site again, surplusfundsriches.net. Okay, and or well, I tell you what, download the file. There's a file download here. You should be able to see. You might have to close your comments tab to see it, but download that file. It is an overview of all the programs. So if you read through that, you should have a really good idea of what we offer. If you still have questions after reading that, give me a call tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern, 704-791-9398. Hasha says, thanks. That's what I thought. Fantastic. Yeah, that's exactly right, Jeff. A trustee deed is a foreclosure deed in a mortgage foreclosure sale. The trustee for the bank, the attorney for the bank, is conveying the ownership to the new buyer at the foreclosure sale in a mortgage foreclosure. Okay. My last question was related to the panning program, says Brad. Thanks. Okay, I got to go back. Guys, whenever I ask you for, all right, so do you accept family trust on title deeds if the trustee of the trust is still alive? Jeff, panning program. Do we accept family trust on title deeds if the trustee of the trust is still alive? Well, I'm going to let Jeff answer that one. Kelly says, thank you, Sean. We're going to, guys, you better hit it quick because Jeff tends to cut off questions anywhere from, well, right around 5 minutes before the end, and we're a minute or two from that. So if you've got questions, don't be shy right now, okay? Quickly again, because I see a lot of people kind of joined in a little bit late. The big news was the sale tomorrow starts at 10 a.m. Eastern, ends the following day. So it starts Friday the 12th at 10 a.m. Eastern, ends Saturday the 13th at 10 p.m. Eastern. You go to the site, surplusfundsriches.net. You can click the banner at the top or click on products. And at 10 a.m. Eastern, that products page, which right now is showing you information on what's coming up, is going to become at 10 a.m. a buy page. You can, like if you got there at 9:59, it's not going to be there. At 10 o'clock, if it doesn't switch, refresh the page and it'll be a buy page, 10 a.m. Eastern. And typically we go through about halfway through the following day. I'm anticipating that we're going to go through that or maybe the end of the following day, maybe as late as 10 p.m. Eastern. I just don't guarantee it, There you go. Jeff says, if the deed is in a trust, we will accept it if it names a trustee. See, guys, a lot of guys, you don't realize Jeff writes 90% of the books because he has to deal with you guys, or at least 90% of the book, I should say. He has to deal with you guys on the front end, underwriting your stuff and working with you with support. So he knows the stuff a lot better than I do. I'm handling the crew, and handling contacting attorneys, well, our central attorney to get other ones if we need it, cashing checks, dispersing money, and also on the deed flip, handling closings when we flip a property. So Jeff is the front line. I respect the heck out of him. He's been with me forever. I've never worked with anybody, a partner like this in my life. So, as Jeff would do. Oh, but anyway, let me see if he's cut you off yet. Usually he sends me a text because we do like to be done in half an hour or less. The other things that were, besides the sale coming up tomorrow, The big news was, and again, I'm not going to tell you the state it's in, simply because I don't like doing that, because the person that's working it, let them work it. They've got a little honey hole there. There's a $400,000 deal, just over 400 grand we're working on right now. Also, we have a lot of investors set up for D-Flip, so we're set on that. Jennifer says, thank you for your time this evening, gentlemen. Jennifer, you have been wonderful. You're all over our social media and our YouTube, and just the positive attitude and the work ethic. Very impressed with you and very appreciative of you. Okay. So I've got a little time here. I don't know if Jeff has cut it off yet. Usually he tells me. I've got a little time here for questions if you guys have any more. Probably not a whole lot more. Make sure also, if you can see it, you may have to change your or close your comment section. But if you can see the file download, oh, he just shut down chat. Okay, if you look at the file download, you can download those files. I'll let that go for a minute here. We've got about 4 minutes left. Another thing I'll talk to you guys about, if you haven't already, guys, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you don't, you're being silly. Look, all the information you need to be successful is on the resources page. Those videos, when you buy our program, those are not available to the public. I know a lot of people freak out because they go, well, you're giving all this information out on YouTube. Well, a lot of it is updates and projections. It's also kind of higher level stuff. The training videos are not listed on YouTube, just so you guys know. And if you go to YouTube, subscribe to it. The channel is Surplus Funds Riches, all one word, Surplus Funds Riches. Another thing, big nugget here, a couple of videos that have been great that we just loaded up. We loaded up one a while ago that'll give you a great idea if you guys are kind of on the fence. And that is, it's called Free Surplus Funds Training. It's an hour and 5 minutes. So it tells you exactly what to do, how to get a list, how to research the debt against the property, how to find them, how to talk to them, that kind of stuff. And we give a good bit of information on there. I have had people ask me before, though, hey, can you give me a copy of your contract? Well, we do it different than everybody else. We use a structured buyout. We give the claimant 10% up front, and more we successfully get the money out, obviously. We use an attorney in every instance. We're on the hook for the attorney there. Because we're participating in the retrieval, we are not considered finders and don't fall under those regulations. Okay. We just have a really solid system. We're doing it different than anybody else. And I'm going to take a little bit of a shot. You guys know I typically don't do this. I did do kind of a sarcastic video. I was making fun of myself and some other people that do programs like this. But I saw one the other day that I have to bring it up. He said, well, in the 5 years I've been doing this is what I have learned. And I just about spit out my Coke. Coca-Cola. Just about spit it out, because we've been doing this for over 15 years, right? 20,000 plus files worked. We've trained more people than anybody else, been more successful than anybody else, made more retrievals than anybody else, been in here longer than anybody else, in the business longer than anybody else. And we're the only ones that use a structured buyout, so we don't fall under finder fee caps, and we don't fall under any kind of statutes that regulate you that way. I mean, some states require you to be good Lord, a private investigator just to look people up for this kind of stuff. So way different than anybody else. The only states we don't work, period, are Oregon, Washington State, and Colorado. North Carolina, we work only with our panning system because they don't have, they no longer give you up-to-date lists. So it's already been to the state by the time you can get any kind of a list. So we work it only with our panning system. And then Florida is a separate system. So 45 states, 46 if you're 46 or 47 if you get one of the bundles. Sale's the sale. If you try to add something on, you can. If you come back later and go, hey, I want to pay the difference because I forgot to add this on, too bad. That is a point of sale amount. Okay. However, those of you guys that have our program, this is the last thing I'm going to say and wrap it up. Those of you guys that have our program and you're looking at, oh, you don't offer this particular program as an add-on, I never see it by itself. Go to your resources page, open the ebook you got, click the link. Go to your resources page. There should be a past buyer loyalty discount. You're not going to get stuff for add-on pricing, okay? But you're going to get it for anywhere from typically $297 to $397 for a program you can't even get on its own anymore. I think that's it, guys. If anybody has any other questions that are thinking, pre-purchase questions, guys, that are thinking about buying, I will be available tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern at 704-791-9398. I will not be available pre-purchase questions on Saturday. Thanks, guys. Hope this has helped. Have a great, great night. Thank you.